I'm here with Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Alexander, let's talk about Attorney General Barr and John Durham. They were in Rome recently, and we've traced a lot of the origins of the Russiagate hoax to a handful of countries. Those countries being definitely the UK and the city of London, what I think is ground zero. Then I would say Ukraine definitely played a very big role in the Russiagate hoax. And then you start looking at countries like Australia via Alexander Downer and Rome. Italy, its capital Rome, where you have the mysterious Maltese Professor Mifsud hiding out, living in Rome. No one's questioning him. No one bothered to question him over 3 years. Now it looks like Barr and Durham did what we have been saying video after video during the entire Russiagate hoax. Why doesn't anybody get on a plane and interview Mifsud and Steele and these guys and Assange and just clear up the entire thing? Now it looks like Barr and Durham have done that. So Alexander, what do you make of their trip to Italy?
Well, first of all, can I just say they went to Italy, they went to Rome, and they there heard, apparently, a tape recording of a deposition, a sworn deposition that Mifsud has given, Professor Mifsud has given. We must presume it's all about Russiagate and all the rest. Now, this is actually, when you think about it, pretty extraordinary. The Attorney General of the United States, a district attorney who is in charge of an investigation, they together go all the way to Rome to listen to a tape recording. There's an awful lot more going on here than the story is revealing. I mean, they didn't just go all the way to listen to a tape recording. They went there to meet people. Of that, I have absolutely no doubt. And that must be, whatever they were doing in Rome, it must have been incredibly important for them both to actually take a plane to go. Now, there is something really interesting here, because apparently also they went to Rome, they must have met people. They didn't apparently actually meet Mifsud himself. Now, that suggests to me, again, very strongly, that Mifsud is being protected by someone. In other words, some important intelligence agency to which Mifsud clearly belongs, and it's clearly not Russia, because remember, Mifsud is in Rome, he's not in Moscow, so Rome is a NATO capital, so some intelligence agency is protecting him and is attempting to negotiate access issues to Mifsud with Barr and Durham. What I think has happened, this is my own guess, is that Barr and Durham went to Rome, they spoke to Mifsud's controllers, they listened to this deposition, and they're negotiating face-to-face the terms upon which Mifsud will either come to the United States to give evidence there, or will be met and spoken to and interviewed in Rome by Department of Justice investigators. That's the only conceivable that's the only explanation I can give to this. And if I'm right, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, then that confirms that Mifsud is indeed an intelligence agent, that he's the intelligence agent of a Western power, and that Western power is protecting him, and that there's therefore has to be a negotiation before full disclosure by him is provided.
So you think, very quickly, Alexander, you think that Barr and Durham did not actually meet Mifsud face to face?
This is what the reports say.
Right. Outside the report. Outside the report.
Exactly. Now,
maybe not question him, but at least, see the man behind the Russiagate hoax.
he's definitely in Rome. Of that, I think there's no dispute about it now. They definitely went to Rome to track him down. Whether they actually met him or not, I don't know. They definitely listened to a tape-recorded deposition that he gave. But I have no doubt that the reason both of them went to Rome was in order to insist that he be provided. In other words, that he actually be shown to them and be questioned face to face by them. This is a big play. This is not a small event. This is a huge event. And as I said, it effectively confirms that Mifsud is the intelligence agent of a major Western power.
Which?
And that okay, I'm going to make
it's either UK or the US. Which one?
I'm guessing it's the UK. I mean, that seems to me to
MI6, MI5,
yes.
MI6.
MI6, MI5, MI6. The reason I say that is that, of course, if it's the US, then Durham and Barr could just get Donald Trump to issue an instruction to the intelligence community, and they would presumably have to comply. So the fact that they can't do that, that they have to negotiate the terms of Mifsud's production, to my mind, confirms it's a different country, and all the indications are that I know about that it's Britain. I mean, that seems to me the logical explanation. Now, I have to say, I have absolutely no doubt that Barr and Durham will eventually get to Mifsud, if they haven't already. I mean, they may have seen him in Rome. They may be more to this story than we are being told so far. But if they haven't yet seen him in Rome, they no doubt before very long will. And I actually think that at some point Mifsud is going to end up in the United States.
Yeah, Mifsud is the genesis of the Russiagate hoax, that's for sure. And he's definitely got to get back to the U.S.
Yes.
And he's got to be interrogated and questioned. Is it normal for a UK spy to be hiding out in Rome? Why isn't he in London?
Well, that's
or anywhere in the UK, for that matter.
That is an excellent question. I think that the reason he's in Rome is because it's easier to keep him away from the media, which has been looking for him, by packing him off to Rome.
Assuming he's MI6. Assuming he's
MI6. Well, I mean, can I just say, one of the interesting things that came out of George Papadopoulos's various disclosures is that there is essentially a spy school, a British and American spy school in Rome. So the British apparently have a major intelligence presence in Rome. Bear in mind, Rome was also where the FBI first met with Christopher Steele. Not the first place they met him, but they met him there. So that does look as if there's a major British intelligence operation underway in Rome. So they take him out of London, they park him in Rome to keep him away from the media, to keep him to some extent at a greater distance from the Americans. But of course, Barr and Durham have now finally caught up with him.
And that would explain the connection to Downer, who was also in London as well. I mean, there's no doubt then that the UK spy school and the spy ring in the UK definitely has ties to Australia.
Of course they do.
And
absolutely.
Downer in a way was running interference between the two. And that's how he involved himself into all of this.
Oh, well, of course, I mean, bear in mind something. I mean, Australia is a member of the British Commonwealth. The Queen of Britain, is Australia's Queen also. There are intimate interconnections between Britain and Australia. They are two very friendly allied powers. In World War II and World War I, Britain actually declared war on Germany on Australia's behalf, and the Australians didn't question it. Now, they would today, but the connections between these two countries are extremely strong, and the intelligence connections are, so strong that you could almost talk about them being, one basic intelligence community.
So it wouldn't be a surprise to see Downer, representing Australia, but in London, colluding with Mifsud and Steele on this on this coup against, Donald J. Trump.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, absolutely. I mean, if this was an intelligence operation, as Papadopoulos thinks and as I believe, then it's entirely understandable that the Australians and the British were working together on it. I mean, I'm sure it happens all the time, by the way. I am sure that if and that there is intelligence sharing arrangements, and that the Australians provide the British intelligence from the Far East, where Australia is a presence, and Britain provides Australia with its intelligence of what goes on in Europe, and that their agents and officials work very, very closely together, and in effect it's a seamless web. I mean, you can't really say where Australia begins and Britain ends. Setting Papadopoulos up for a meeting before Downer was a good way actually to carry out an operation where the Anglo-Australians are working together.
That's where you see it.
Exactly, that's where you see it. Exactly, that's where you see it. It's a good way to do it because, of course, as he was, the Australian High Commissioner in London, he could give a good pretext for holding that meeting, and that's why it was done. But I mean, it bears all the hallmarks of what Papadopoulos says it was, which is of a joint intelligence operation.
Okay, who do you think is next, Alexander, in Barr and Durham's question list? If you had to guess, and this is putting you out there, you're going to have to really, make a good guess on this. Who do you think is next on the list outside of Mifsud for them to go after? Would it be Steele? Could we see Assange? Could we see Assange questioned?
They may very well want to see Assange. I think it's highly likely at some point that they will want to see Assange. They won't just want to see Assange. They will want to see Christopher Steele. I mean, he's already agreed to give evidence, and I'm sure that they will grill him relentlessly, and they will try and find out everything that they possibly can about him. But what they're investigating are the investigators. They will want to, if British intelligence was involved, they will probably want to speak to people within the British intelligence community. They will want to speak to people within the Australian government. They will want to speak to many, many people in Ukraine. And of course, there's also rumours that a Baltic state was involved. One of the Baltic states, they'll want to speak to that too.
Which Baltic state do you think?
I don't
Latvia?
know. I don't know. I suspect it was either Latvia or Estonia. And I'm going to make a guess. It's pure guess. I think it was more likely Estonia. I think Estonia is more aggressive in spreading these stories or getting involved in these kind of intelligence connections than Latvia was. But I want to emphasize this is pure guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but Latvia would definitely be the country where you would launder money if you were making any types of payments. For example, like Giuliani said, the Ukraine-Cyprus-Latvia laundering trail.
Yeah, but bear in mind also, I mean, Estonia and Latvia, less so Lithuania, by the way, which has always been a slightly different country, but Latvia and Estonia work very closely together on many things. They always coordinate their positions. So it may be that the Latvians deal with the finance things and the Estonians deal with the intelligence. But, at this moment in time, I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't want to guess too much because, my guesses on this may be wrong. They are pure guesses.
Okay, so to tie it all up, Alexander, we have Durham and we have Barr. Yeah. They're making moves.
Yeah.
They are definitely making moves, and I know a lot of people are impatient with what's going on. I've been impatient, trying to see results from Barr, but it does look like that they're, they're actually getting on a plane and doing stuff. How much of this is spooking the Democrats so that they fabricated the whole Ukraine-gate hoax? Because they're seeing this and they're saying, oh crap, you're telling me Barr and Durham are on a plane to track down Mifsud, we better get some sort of scandal, however ridiculous it is, out there in order to try to discredit them.
Well, the Democrats are terrified of this. Bear in mind that I am quite sure that there was an enormous amount of collusion throughout Russiagate between the Democrats in Congress and the intelligence community and the media. So the Democrats are terrified, the intelligence community is terrified, and the media are terrified. That's why we have Ukrainegate. We've done a video about this. The principal purpose, the function of Ukrainegate, it was to try to derail and discredit the Barr Durham investigation. That famous telephone conversation between Zelensky and Trump was about getting Ukraine's assistance with the Barr Durham investigation. We discussed it in a video. Other people like Andrew McCarthy on National Review are saying it also. That was the trigger to this. Now, I think Ukrainegate has exploded beyond that. I think, all kinds of people in the media and in the Democratic Party and in the base and members of the squad have now all jumped in. They've all gone mad around it. But the original purpose of this confected scandal was to try to derail Barr and Durham. And the fact that they're going to Rome, the fact that they're taking it so seriously that they're going to Rome and they are meeting with people there. As I said, they didn't just go there to listen to a tape. They're meeting with people there. They're negotiating. They're getting close to Mifsud. That is beginning to create panic.
It is a huge story, and it's very underreported, mostly because the whole Ukrainegate is overshadowing it. It's taking up all the oxygen. But this is a huge story.
Which is its purpose, which is the point of it. And bear in mind that Inspector General Horowitz, that's the Inspector General of the FBI, his report on the origins of Russiagate is going to come out very soon. It's already in the process of being vetted by the Justice Department to remove to deal with any classified material. But that's coming very soon. So lots of things are now in play. And so we see the panic. Ukrainegate is all over the place to try to take away attention from the real investigation. I mean, Ukrainegate is a real investigation. Russiagate, the Mueller inquiry, was a phony investigation. The impeachment inquiry that's been invented around Ukrainegate is an even phonier investigation. I mean, it's a crazy investigation. The real investigation is the one that Barr and Durham are carrying out.
Yeah, the Horowitz report is going to be very focused, though. It's going to be very, very detailed and focused and narrow. But remember Trump, when he was speaking, I think right before he got onto to his helicopter to the Air Force One, or whatever it's called, the helicopter that takes him around. Trump, I remember it, Trump said, I'm giving Barr a lot of latitude and a lot of leeway.
Yes.
I want him, and he mentioned the countries. I want him to take a look at Ukraine. I want him to take a look at the UK. I want him to take a look at Australia. I mean, Trump laid it out. I think the Democrats heard that and they said, "Oh crap!" Adam Schiff. What was that? What was that idea that you had? That fantasy idea that you had? Let's get to it.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think this is exactly what this is all about. That is why Ukrainegate has been launched. It's because the Democrats are terrified that the searchlight is now turning on what they and allies in the community and in the media were doing, and the fact that they were all working together. I forgot to mention, by the way, that there's also been a report quite recently that the State Department has reopened its investigation into Hillary Clinton's misuse of a private email server to pass her emails. So all of these things all these real investigations are now in play. So what do? You see the net closing, you start this absurd story about, Donald Trump bullying Zelensky, to investigate the Bidens, and making this mysterious quid pro quo which no one can see.
And you sacrifice, crazy Joe, who didn't have a chance to begin with. So you throw him under the bus. It's not a big loss.
Exactly. That's exactly
the
right.
deep state wants Elizabeth Warren anyway. She's their person to begin with.
Exactly right. That's exactly what it's all about.
All right, Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Thank you very much. Guys, click on that subscribe button. Please also smash that like button. Share the channel with everybody you know. We are almost at 100,000 subscribers. YouTube makes it very hard for people to find our channel and to share our channel. So everything that you do really helps us out a whole lot. You can also get an audio copy of this video. Look for the links for iTunes and Soundcloud in the description box down below. And please donate to us on PayPal, Patreon, and Subscribe. Your donation helps keep this channel up and running and growing. So your donation is very much appreciated. And something else that is appreciated, Alexander, is when people go to the Duran shop and they purchase a Lavrov mug, an Alpha Force mug, a t-shirt, or any other kind of cool merchandise that we have on the shop.
Indeed, we have t-shirts now with the Alpha Force badge too, as well as on our mugs. And of course, this mug with Lavrov on it. Lavrov, the best foreign minister in the world, a man of tremendous cerebral brilliance. He thinks before he speaks. He's always extraordinarily careful in what he says. And he is a superb diplomat and a man of peace, by the way, which is what we are. I mean, he's not someone who looks to create conflicts and wars. He sees his job as a diplomat to create bridges with other countries and other people, and to meet people halfway, and to create compromises that move things forward, which is what we're all about. We are about a realist, hard-headed foreign policy. And that's what we would like to see the United States do. And of course, who better a person than that to have on our mugs? Which better force, military force, always used very carefully by the Russians, Alpha Force. They're never thrown in recklessly or pointlessly. That's why you hear so little about them, by the way, because what they do quietly and they do it well. And again, that's how force should be used. It should be used surgically, not sort of blunderbuss fashion, as we see with the Saudis in Yemen and such places. Anyway, so these are Alpha Force. This is Lavrov on our beautiful magic mugs that sustain us and keep us going through the long hours of the day and night when we research our programs and find out what the news is and do our analysis. And can I just say, we spend hours and hours, Alex and I, researching and investigating stories before we go on these programs. I mean, what you hear and see is a distillation of many hours of hard work. And of course, I've got tea. I've got Earl Grey tea in this mug because that's my tea for the moment. But we don't just sell mugs. We also sell these great shirts, these marvelous 100% cotton Duran shirts with our double-headed eagle, which hovers over the world, looking at both the east and west, keeping an eye on everything that goes on. And look how insightful and right we are, how right we were on Russiagate, how right we're turning out to be on Ukrainegate. And the reason is, as I said, because we have got the all-seeing eye of the eagle there. And these are not just we have these kind of shirts. We've got polo shirts. We've got long sleeve T-shirts. We've got hoodies. We've got hats. We've got stickers. We've got amazing things, all high quality items. Our competitors are trying to copy us, but making an absolute hash of it. So what are you waiting for? Help us run our channel. Go to our shop. Buy our great things. Help yourself by owning them. Alex will tell you how to do it.
You will find a link to our shop, theduranshop.com, in the description box down below. And you will also find a link, I forgot to say, Alexander, to our BitChute as well. So you can check us out on BitChute. I know a lot of people in the comments have been asking us about BitChute. We do have a channel there as well. Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Until next time, everybody, take care.